Hello everyone, how are you today? I am Amir Siddique, international journalist. Today I am here in Vienna, IAEA head office, Atomic Energy head office, UNO. And today is very big event for the journalist because International Journalist Press Day and freedom of journalist speech is here today. And so lot of journalists today will come. Let's go to check how many people's there and how many journalists there. Go.
Happy World Press Freedom Day!
Sashka Surkov is a board member of the United Nations Correspondents Association in Vienna and the editor-in-chief of the bilingual newspapers. In her statement, she welcomes guests to the celebration of World Press Freedom Day.
Kollegen, liebe Gäste und Freunde, erlauben Sie mir, Sie als willkommen zu begrüßen. Zunächst gestatten Sie mir, mich zu vorstellen. Mein Name ist Sashka Surkov, ich bin Vorstandsmitglied der UNCAV, auch Herausgeberin und Chefredakteurin der zweisprachigen Zeitungen, Wien heute, Vienna und Neue Donau Zeitung, noch Dunajski Westnik. Künstlerische Leiterin der internationalen Wettbewerb, der nach der großen Opernsängerin Ljuba Velic benannt ist, sowie Vorsitzende der internationalen Nichtregierungsorganisation Ljuba Velic Society, deren Devise lautet soziale Aktivität in einer freundlichen Welt für alle Generationen. Meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, wir versammeln uns heute anlässlich eines besonderen Tages, der Welttags der Pressefreiheit. Ein Tag, der uns daran erinnert, dass freie und unabhängige Medien weit mehr sind als nur eine Stimme unter vielen. Sie sind das Fundament einer offenen, demokratischen und gerechten Gesellschaft. In einer Zeit, in der Informationen in Sekundenschnelle um die Welt gehen, in der neue Technologien wie künstliche Intelligenz Chancen und zugleich Herausforderungen für unsere Informationsfreiheit mit sich bringen. Ist es wichtiger denn je, den Wert der Pressefreiheit zu schützen, zu verteidigen und zu feiern. Heute ehren wir nicht nur die Journalistinnen und Journalisten, die tagtäglich mit Mut und Integrität ihrer Berufung folgen. Wir gedenken auch alle jener, die für die Wahrheit ihr Leben ließen. Ihr Vermächtnis verpflichtet uns alle, für eine freie, vielfältige und unabhängige Medienlandschaft einzutreten. Lassen Sie uns diesen Tag nutzen, um gemeinsam zu würdigen und den Blick in eine Zukunft der freien Information zu richten. Ich übergebe das Wort an meine Kollegin Frau Reuers.
In her statement, she welcomes guests to the celebration of World Press Freedom Day. She also introduced her roles, including leading a cultural competition named after opera singer Ljuba Velic and chairing an NGO advocating the intergenerational social engagement. In her message, she also emphasized that free and independent media are essential to the democratic society, especially in an era of rapid information flow and technological advancement like artificial intelligence. The right to information is fundamental and foundational to freedom of expression and protected by both international human rights documents and Austrian laws. The speech of Sashka also rightly honored courageous journalists and commemorates those who lost their lives for the truth. It calls for continued support of a free, diverse, and independent media landscape. Again, thank you very much, Saskia. Welcome to the second World Press Freedom Day, organized by United Nations Correspondents Association in Vienna, in cooperation with the European Network of Filipino Diaspora Austria and the Yuba, sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right, Yuba Village Society. So these three organizations have come together to organize this in honor of commemorating World Press Freedom Day, which actually is on the 3rd of May every year. My name is Marizel Rojas. I think I know most of you, and I'm happy to see very familiar faces. I see many participants here representing many different big organizations, and so really welcome to all of you. I'm standing here before you in my capacity as ENFiD chair, so basically wearing two hats, and also a board member of UNCAV. At this stage, I would like to welcome somebody who doesn't need much of an introduction. He's somebody who, when you see him in the halls of, for example, the Vienna International Center at the United Nations, you'll know right away. It's somebody very important, somebody who leads a very big organization, especially when it comes to press freedom and promotion of press. So please help me, join me in welcoming Mr. Diplom Engineer Abdallah Sharif, the President of UNCAV, for the welcome remarks. Abdallah.
I could collect a lot of information and experiences which really I would like to deliver to the young people. Anyhow, good afternoon all of you, and on behalf of the UNCAV United Nations Correspondents Association, I welcome you all here for our celebration, the World Press Freedom. As Maricel said, this is the second time we celebrated. For 2 years we celebrated downstairs here in the Rotunda, but this year, unfortunately, because of technical problems, we couldn't do it there. But next year, I think we can manage it in a better place, and good cooperation, good coordination with the different organizations. We are not only these three how you call it, organizations, but also we have the how you call it, the help, and also motivated also by the UNIS, because we are belonging to the UNIS here. And today I am very glad also to welcome, a special welcome to Sonia Winsberger. She is the charge, officer in charge for the United Nations Information Service, and also Ms. Anna Thomas. She is responsible for the accreditation of all journalists here. You are welcome. A special welcome also goes to Dr. Alexandrov. We are very honored to have you here, and we are very eager to listen to your message or your research. Also, I don't forget Sarah Rogers and Alexander Zorhov, the young ladies, young journalists. They are the, how you call it, our future here. And last, I am very honored also to mention John Herzog. He is the Vice President of the Austria Journalist Club. He is with us here today. We are very honored that you are here, and I'm sure in the future we are going to have cooperation with his organization. It's a very, very important organization here in Austria. There is, how you call it, the official address or message of the UNCAV, and this will be read in English, delivered in English by Herman Kroe. Will you please come and deliver the UNCAV message? I give you the microphone here.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I give you, I inform you now about the statements of our colleagues from the UNCAV board. They have sent us a few messages what they think about the World Press Freedom Day. In the First Amendment, the Founding Fathers gave the free press the protection it must have to fulfill its essential role in our democracy. The press was to serve the governed, not the governors. The government's power to censor the press was abolished so that the press would remain forever free to censure the government. The press was protected so that it could bear the secrets of government and inform the public. These are a few sentences of a comment of the New York Times in the year 1971, and they are still very actual. The next one is press. Freedom of the press is one of the most important pillars of democracy. Combined with freedom of expression, it ensures a balanced interaction between the powers and the personalities of states. Freedom of the press is the shortest link between politicians and their voters. Many people do not value objective quality journalism highly enough to pay for it. This is one of the most underestimated threats to the free press and those also to our democracy. The discrediting of public media houses is a dangerous trend driven by populists. Questionable narratives and fake news lead to a disruption which is supported by market-oriented reporting. Journalistic values are not longer as widespread and self-evident as they used to be, and they are not seen as the treasure they are. Due to that, the controlling function of the free press as the fourth pillar of power is getting lost increasingly. There needs to be more awareness that protecting democracy also means protecting the free press, because what is once lost will be very difficult to restore. Press freedom is a constitutional right that protects the independence of the media, which is an essential for any society. It's key to building a healthy democracy and motivating citizens to get involved. And then UN Charter and press freedom. Sure, the freedom of the press is an international value, but in the same a global issue mentioned in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights due to the United Nations Charter. Article 19 of the Declaration said everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression through any media and regardless of frontiers. This article is based on the soul of the UN Charter to enhance peace and dignity. Thank you.
There was input that we've gathered across the globe, basically, all about press freedom. Press freedom on the 3rd of May acts as a very timely reminder to governments of the need to respect commitment to press freedom. It is also a day of reflection among media professionals, like most of you are here, about issues of press freedom and professional ethics. Just as importantly, World Press Freedom Day is a day of support for media, which are targets for the restraint or abolition or of press freedom. It is also a day of remembrance for those journalists who lost their lives in the pursuit of injustice because of the work that they're doing. Because across the globe, media workers risk their lives every day to report facts, expose injustice, and give voice to the voiceless. Too many have been silenced through violence, repression, and war. Today, on the commemoration of World Press Freedom Day, we honor their courage and sacrifice. And we should especially remember a Filipino journalist, 89 years old, who was murdered on the 29th of April in the commission of his functions. So Johnny Juan Daya was a fierce advocate for press freedom in the Philippines and was murdered on the 29th of April 2025. So I would like to invite you to stand And let us observe 1 minute of silence in honor of all the journalists across the globe who have fallen in the line of duty. Thank you so much. You may now take your seats.
Then keynote speakers, important messages, some spontaneous, and I'm very happy to say 2 very young presenters this afternoon. So in front of you are our esteemed guests, but what I would like is to do a quick tour de table so that we can let our speakers know, Ms. Wintersberger, Dr. Alexandrov, Ms. Turkov, Ms. Rojas, and Ms. Thomas. These are your audience for today. So what I want you to do is to grab the mic from your neighbor and just say your name, family name, and your affiliation. For example, my name is Marizal Rojas. I represent UNCAV and ENFiD, Women's Federation, and United Nations Women's Guild. Next to me, please.
My name is John Herzog. I'm representing the Austrian Journalists Club, and a little bit later I have a very spontaneously message for you in kind of a picture. Somebody knows me. I'm always speaking with live pictures.
Thank you, John.
Ich kann nicht viel Deutsch reden, aber okay, also freue mich, ich bin da und das auch freue mich, treffen für alle Leute hier und ich hoffe, die alle Journalisten kommt vom Licht, von den Leuten schauen, was gibt es im Bild. Danke.
Hello everyone, I'm Ziva Mirzai from Afghanistan and really happy to hear. Thanks a lot for this gathering and inviting me here. And just I can say that please all the time respect the journalists and also be with them because they are the only people which connect us all.
Thank you.
Hallo, mein Name ist Maria Ramona. Ich vertrete die Zeitschrift Cultura Latina, Spanisch-Deutsch. Danke.
Hello, my name is Jörg Ran. I'm a journalist from the Niederösterreichischen Nachrichten and I'm a member of UNCAV since 20 years.
Okay.
Good day, my name is Tatiana Terekova. I'm a journalist, TV anchor, and radio host from Ukraine. Moved to Vienna because of the war with my kids.
I'm Lolita. I'm representing the Filipino community here in Vienna.
My name is Siddique. I came from the States, but I already seen how brutal they're doing with all the journalists.
I'm from China, and now I'm in Indian Needle. I used to be a journalist in the University of Macau. I'm very happy to join you and celebrate this Press Freedom Day. Thank you.
My name is Ruriko Nakano. I'm from Japan. I'm not a journalist. I'm a singer, and I was singing in a competition on River Beach. And so today is my great honor to be here and sing here. Thank you.
It's not just speeches, you will hear a performance.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Anna Maria Leiner, a former staff member of the International Atomic Energy Agency. I'm affiliated with ENFiD-Austria and also the Vienna International Center Club Filipino. Thank you for attending our meeting today.
Magandang hapon. Good afternoon. I am Sonia Zirilko-Stenchnik, and I am here representing ENFiD-Austria. And I am very happy to get to know everyone. It's a wonderful representation of so many countries, and really to honor the job that our journalists are doing in such critical times.
Osama Sulaiman, I'm editorial manager of Middle East News Agency and correspondent in Vienna. I wish all freedom for all journalists all over the world. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I'm in class. I'm from Vietnam. I'm a journalist for agency for Vietnam.
My name is Peter Haider. I'm the president of Universal Peace Federation and chairman of NGO Committee on Peace here in Vienna.
Hello everyone, my name is Ri Qingzhou. I come from China. So now I represented United Nations Women Guild. I'm the chairwoman of the United Nations Women Guild Art Committee. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
My name is Christine Diver. I'm supporting on a private basis young and ambitious people and artists, and so I would like to hand over the microphone to Evelyn Denham, which is one that I would like to support.
Also, my name is Evelyn Denham. I'm from Chile. I'm an independent photographer, and my work is based on the representation of women, minorities, indigenous people, and also every issue like peace and war and this kind of representation.
UNCAV und Männer Editors Network.
Vielen Dank, Jenny. En nog eine.
My name is Helmut Weiber. I'm from Vienna. I'm a member of the UNCAV, and I do pictures here so everyone can remember this meeting and the sense for that meeting also, and the speeches of our President and our Secretary General. I wish a good success for everyone. Thank you.
Ras.
Good afternoon, I'm Joel Ross, the husband of Mike.
When you get our family, it's buy one, take three. So I'm here moderating, my daughter is presenting something, and my husband should be helping with something. Just let him know what you want, okay? Anyway, it's amazing that in this gathering, we represent so many different countries. So I'm hoping that the speakers that we have before you today will feel the importance of delivering to such an audience. Not only are we represented in different countries, but also with different amazing organizations. So the next speaker we have is, I would say, a guest speaker, but it's actually part and parcel whenever we talk about press freedom. We are very lucky that this year she is available to join us. She is currently the Deputy Director and also the Officer in charge of UNIS. This is the United Nations Information Service in Vienna. At UNIS, she leads efforts to communicate the work and values of the United Nations to the public and the media. She is also a committed advocate of freedom of expression and public access to information. These are principles that we celebrate today. So es ist mir wirklich eine große Ehre, unsere heutige Gastrednerin vorzustellen. Sie ist die interimistische Leiterin und stellvertretende Direktorin des United Nations Information Service, und im UNIS setzt sich sie dafür ein, die Arbeit und Werte der Vereinten Nationen einer breiten Öffentlichkeit und den Medien zu vermitteln. Sie ist eine engagierte Verfechterin der Meinungsfreiheit und des öffentlichen Zugangs zu Informationen, Werte, die wir heute feiern. You can tell that my Deutsch ist ein bisschen kaputt, aber das macht nicht, gell? So bitte heißen Sie Frau Sonja Wintersberger herzlich willkommen.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome and introduction. President Sharif, dear colleagues and friends of the media, distinguished guests, I'm very pleased to join your event to mark World Press Freedom Day. And I would like to thank the United Nations Correspondents Association Vienna for inviting the UN Information Service to take part. I have the honor to deliver the message from the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the occasion of World Press Freedom Day. This is the message. In a world plagued by conflict and division, World Press Freedom Day highlights a fundamental truth. Freedom for people depends on freedom of the press. Free and independent journalism is an essential public good. It is the backbone of accountability, justice, equality, and human rights. Journalists everywhere must be able to report freely and without fear or favor. When journalists are unable to work, we all lose. Tragically, this is becoming more difficult every year and more dangerous. Journalists face attacks, detentions, censorship, intimidation, violence, and even death simply for doing their jobs. We are seeing a sharp rise in the number of journalists killed in conflict areas, particularly in Gaza. And now, as this year's theme reminds us, press freedom faces an unprecedented threat. Artificial intelligence can support freedom of expression or stifle it. Biased algorithms, outright lies, and hate speech are landmines on the information superhighway. Accurate, verifiable, fact-based information is the best tool to defuse them. The Global Digital Compact, adopted last year, includes concrete steps to strengthen international cooperation to promote information integrity, tolerance, and respect in the digital space. Artificial intelligence must be shaped in a way that is consistent with human rights and puts facts first. And the global principles for information integrity I launched last year are supporting and informing this work as we push for a more humane information ecosystem. On this World Press Freedom Day, let's commit to make this a reality and safeguard press freedom and the press everywhere. This is the end of the message from the United Nations Secretary General. Dear friends and colleagues, in a world of turmoil and uncertainty, your work, the work of journalists, is essential for informing people about what the United Nations here in Vienna and around the world is doing to achieve a world where everyone thrives in peace, dignity, and equality on a healthy planet. So thank you very much, and we wish you a successful event today. Thank you.
Today to deliver a very important message, especially to the journalists among us who are really putting, for some of you, your lives in the line of duty. So thank you to that one. As we have mentioned, can you move the screen maybe? Is it possible? No, backwards. Not yet. One back. Huh? The one before that, if you can. Even before, yeah, exactly. So in the next number that we have, it's actually the keynote speech that we have for today. We have invited a very, very important man to give us the keynote speech. It's Dr. Alexander Alexandrov. He was born in Sofia, Bulgaria. He graduated in psychology before coming to Austria. He also worked as a journalist for the Bulgarian National Television, where he was, of course, involved in news. Since 1998, he has been living and working in Austria, and after completing the Institute for Cultural Management in Vienna and writing of his PhD thesis, he founded an agency for classical concerts, including their organization and promotion. Now he actually works in several different countries, such as Italy, Spain, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, even as far as Japan. He has a book which is funded by the Austrian Science Fund and relates to Bulgaria's cultural policy in the period following the fall of communism. The past 23 years, he's a very young man. He has been working as music manager. In his free time, he is very involved in luthiery and is a member of the Bulgarian Luthier Association. He has also crafted violins, a very talented man. The violins that he has crafted can be heard in concert halls also in Vienna. On the 17th of October, there will be a premiere in Sofia of the third opera, Hero. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Alexander Alexandrov.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to speak to you today. I stand before you to address a crucial issue, reshaping the foundations of our democratic societies. A new form of social stratification that we call neo-feudalism, and how it's fundamentally threatening to the freedom of the press. This issue is of immense importance as it touches the core of our societies, how we access information, how we engage with politics, and ultimately how we protect our democratic institutions. The new feudal framework defining a new age of inequality. To begin with, it is essential to clarify what I mean when I speak of neo-feudalism. Historically, feudalism was a hierarchical system in which a few powerful landowners controlled vast amounts of land, while peasants worked for them in exchange of protection. It was a system where economic, political, and social power was concentrated in the hands of a few. This concentration of power created a deeply unequal society with limited mobility for most people. In the 21st century, we are witnessing a transformation of this age-old social order into a new one, digital form. Neo-feudalism is no longer about the control of land, but about the control of data, information, and access of knowledge. Large corporations and tech monopolies are now the new worlds, with control over the resources of the information age. The population, meanwhile, often finds itself as the serfs, largely depend on these corporate chains for access to news, information, and even their social and political lives. This transformation is evident in the way we consume information today. The digital landscape has fundamentally altered how we receive news, and the platforms and control this process are less transparent than ever. Algorithms, search engines, and new fields are curated based on information. Our social media timelines, search engines, and new feeds are curated based on algorithms designed to prioritize content that will drive engagement, often leading to sensationalism and biased reporting. This algorithm governance impacts not only what we know, but also how we understand the world. As a political economist, David Harvey notes in his book, A Brief History of Neoliberalism, the rise of neoliberal economic policies has greatly exacerbated income inequality and concentrated wealth in the hands of fewer and fewer people. It is not just about income disparity, however. The real danger lies in the concentration of political and cultural power in these hands. The concentration undermines democratic accountability, which is essential for the functioning of any democratic system today. The economic and political power of digital giants. Let's now turn to the digital giants who are at the forefront of this shift. Companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft control vast network of information, commerce, and communication. According to the New York Times, as of 2020, these 4 or 5 companies alone were worth over $5 trillion, a staggering sum that was the rated product of many countries and many nations. The immense market power of these companies allows them not only to shape consumer behavior, but also to influence political decisions and discourses. The digital giants, by controlling massive amounts of data, know us better than we know ourselves now. Google controls nearly all online searches. Facebook dominates social media engagement, with the algorithms determining the kinds of content we engage with. Amazon dictates much of the online retail environment and, by extension, has a huge influence on consumer preferences. Apple controls the iOS ecosystem, the App Store, and the hardware that many of us rely on daily. Take, for instance, Google controls over search algorithms. In 2020, it was estimated that Google controlled 92% of the global search engine market. This control is not only merely about the directly peoples to websites. It extends to shaping opinion and perceptions. The search results that we see are the product of an algorithm and hidden process that determines what information is presented and how it's framed. Google's dominance over search engines gives it the power to decide which stories are amplified and which are marginalized. Similarly, Facebook controls vast networks of communication through its platforms, which boast over 2.5 billion active users worldwide. This makes Facebook an extraordinarily powerful tool for shaping political discourse. In the 2016 United States president election, Facebook was used like a tool for shaping political discourse, to spread misinformation and even facilitate foreign interference. As reported by The Atlantic, Russian operatives utilized Facebook to target American voters with ads and posts designed to sow division and confusion, influencing the outcome of the election. This phenomenon is not isolated. It is a part of a larger pattern in which digital platforms manipulate political narratives and public sentiment on an unprecedented scale. The sheer economic power of these companies means they can influence political decisions as well. As of 2021, Google, Amazon, and Facebook spent hundreds of millions of dollars annually on lobbying in Washington, ensuring that their interests are prioritized in policy decisions. In the face of such power, independent governance seems to be winning. Media consolidation and the erosion of independent journalism. Now, let us examine the direct implications of this concentration of power for the media industry and particularly for the press. The press is often referred to as the fourth estate because of its crucial role in the holding power to account and informing the public. However, we are witnessing an alarming trend in which this function is being compromised by the economic and political pressures exerted by both corporations or governments. The consolidation of media ownership has reached unprecedented times. According to a study by the Columbia Journalism Review in 2020, just 6 companies, Comcast, Disney, Time Warner, Viacom, CBS, and new corporations control media's outlets in the United States. The concentration of power results in a significant reduction in the diversity of viewpoints that reach the public. It is important to note that this consolidation is not limited to the United States. In the United Kingdom, for instance, Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation controls a significant portion of the country's newspaper, including the Times, the Sun, and the Sunday Times. This concentration of ownerships results in additional places with large media conglomerates often prioritizing sensationalism and profit over investigative journalism. Furthermore, as the biases model of journalism has shifted from print subscription to digital advertising, the dependence of platforms like Facebook and Google for revenue has become more pronounced. According to The Guardian, in 2020, Google and Facebook together accounted for 73% of the digital advertising revenue in the United States alone. This overwhelming dominance means that news outlets must cater to the interests of these tech giants, which in turn affects the kind of news that is produced. This dependence had led to a situation where media organizations are increasingly driven by sensational headlines and clickbait rather than long-form investigative journalism. As a result, important issues that require deep, nuanced exploration are often ignored in favor of stories that generate high levels of engagement, even if those stories are misleading or trivial. The case of media concentration in Eastern Europe, Eastern European countries such as Romania, Hungary, Poland, Serbia, Ukraine, demonstrate that media concentrations remains a significant issue in the region. In these countries, media ownership is often in the hands of political elites, oligarchs, or foreign corporations. This concentration undermines the independence of media, distorting the news to serve political interests rather than the public good. In Bulgaria, for example, a small number of businessmen and politicians control most of the country's media outlets. This had led to a situation where the press is used as a tool to reinforce political power, rather than to hold it to account. Misinformation and partisan reporting have flourished, undermining the role of media in fostering and informing electorate. The concentration of media ownership in the hands of few political and business elites undermines the role of media as an independent source of information and a check on government power. This results in reduced media pluralism, a lack of diversity of opinion, and growing political influence over the media in ultimately affecting democratic processes. To address these challenges, Eastern European countries must implement stronger regulations that ensure transparency in media ownership, support independent journalism through funding and legal protection, and promote media literacy among the public. Only through such measures can these countries ensure a more democratic and pluralistic media environment that can serve the interests of their citizens and support the functional parts of the democracy. Digital surveillance and the culture of control. Neofeudalism is not just about economic and media monopolies. It is also deeply connected to surveillance and control. In the age of digital technology, citizens are not only consumers but also data points, constantly measured, analyzed, and categorized by corporations and government alike. This data collection often takes place without informed consent. Most users are unaware of the full extent to which their data is being gathered and used. Every click, every search query, every purchase contributes to a massive digital profile that can be used for commercial gain or political manipulation. This brings us to the concept of surveillance capitalism, as coined by Harvard professor Shoshana Zuboff. In her book, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, Zuboff explains how companies extract and commodify personal data with the goal of protecting and modifying behavior for profit. This form of capitalism is predicated on control, not through force, but through information. The implications for press freedom are profound. Journalists, activists, and whistleblowers are increasingly under threat in this environment. These tools that were once seen as enablers of free expression, social media, cloud storage, and mobile communication are now used to monitor and suppress dissent. The boundaries between state surveillance and corporate surveillance are. Edward Snowden's revelation in 2013 brought to light the extensive reach of global surveillance network. But over the decade late, little has changed. In fact, surveillance capabilities have become ever more sophisticated, with artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and biometric tracking becoming commonplace. These technologies, when used without transparency or accountability, pose a serious threat to process of freedom and press freedom and civil liberties, resisting the science toward neofeudalism. So, what can we do in the face of these challenges? Firstly, we must call for greater transparency and accountability from tech companies and media conglomerates. The algorithms that shape our information landscape must be open to scrutiny. We need democratic oversight of the digital infrastructure that governs so much of our lives. Second, funding models that do not rely on digital advertising, such as public grants, not-profit newsrooms, and community-supported media. Investigative journalism needs protection and support, as it remains one of the most effective tools for exposing corruption and holding power to account. Thirdly, media literacy must become a central part of our education system. Citizens need to understand how information is produced, how algorithms work, and how to critically access sources. As well-informed citizenry is the best defense against manipulation. Fourthly, we need global cooperation to regulate digital monopolies. Just as environmental challenges transcend borders, so too must our response to the concentration of the digital power. Countries must work together to enforce antitrust laws, protect data rights, and defend the freedom of the press. Lastly, and most importantly, we must remember that democracy is not a given. It is something we must fight for every day. Press freedom is not a luxury. It is a cornerstone of our democratic societies. And we allow to be undermined by corporate monopolies, political elites, or surveillance networks. We risk losing the very fundament and foundation of our freedom. As a conclusion, reclaiming our democratic futures. Ladies and gentlemen, the neo-feudal order that is emerging is not inevitable. It is a result of choices, political, economic, and cultural, that we as societies have made and continue to make. But just as it has been constructed, it can also be dismantled. The digital work offers extraordinary possibilities, but it is up to us to ensure that these possibilities are harnessed for the public good, not for the private gain. We must reclaim the commons of information, reimagine our relationship with technology, and reaffirm our commitment to democratic principles. Let us defend the freedom of the press not only as a matter of principle, but as a matter of survival of our democracies. For justice and for the future, we wish to leave to the next generation. Thank you.
Scary, because I know how great he is. So he was asked if he could deliver a message. Of course, he said yes right away. So let's please welcome Sir John Herzog from the Austrian Journalist Club. John.
Beings. I have no SMS for you. I have an HMS for you. A heart message service. And somebody maybe knows me as a storyteller, as a picture teller. And I have not many words for you. I have a little picture for you now and here. What I need is your imagination. This is our world, made of glass. A very thin, basic, but made of glass. And as we heard, we need something to survive for our daily living. And this is water. But this, not vodka, water. So this is a very special water. And we should fill it into the world. This water is called Kids for Our Future. This water is called Peace for Our Future. This water is also called music, arts, traditions, cultures. And this water is also called press and media. And what we human beings should do with that glass, with this special liquid, attention in the first row, you know, I'm strange. We all have to spread it out to the world. Why? That we are going to fill in more of kids, arts, culture, press, media. Don't worry, I put it all away. So this is the picture I want to give to you, and please spread it out to the world. So we are united nations again. These are my little words, and last I would like to invite you. We have tomorrow, for example, a very, very special event at the Vienna International Press Saloon in the Blutgasse, starting 6 p.m. with the journalists from the New York Times and some artists from all over the world. And thank you for listening and seeing my picture. Thank you. No vodka. Just water. Thank you very much.
Very, very heartwarming presentations. So for a change, we have among us, I think I don't see many, but speakers from a generation that's kind of the rage. And one of them will be presenting now. It is my honor and pleasure and pride and joy to really introduce the next presenter. She's not a speaker, she's a presenter. And she represents in this room 3 organizations. The European Network of Filipino Diaspora Austria, actually also the European Network of Filipino Diaspora across Europe, of which she is a director, a very young director. She also recently joined the Women's Federation for World Peace, on whose behalf she attended a conference and advocacy training in New York on the occasion of the 69th session of the Committee on Women's Status of Women. And most importantly, she's my clone. So she is my daughter, so you better clap your hands. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a student from the University of Vienna, Sarah Giselle Magistrado Rojas.
Thank you, Mom. What a wonderful introduction. Sorry, I have to step up and clean up the mess John made. No, just kidding, it's fine. Good day, everyone. Today, I'm going to speak about the topic that lies close to my heart. I'm not only here merely as an advocate, but as part of a generation born into the era of digitalization, information overload, and artificial intelligence. This is press freedom versus AI, a Gen Z perspective. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm in no way, shape, or form a professional, so everything you see here is based on my own research and personal experience. So, as Mom mentioned, looking around, I don't see that many young people, not a lot of Gen Z. But who are the Gen Zs? We were people born between 1997 and 2012. The first generation to truly be born into the era of digitalization. We grew up in a world where information is constant and overwhelming, where social media shapes our culture and our identity, and artificial intelligence is part of our daily life. From early on, screens became second nature. We didn't adapt to the internet, we were born into it. But we're not just scrolling aimlessly. We're creators of content, curators of narratives, and critics of systems. Yes, we were born into the algorithm, but we're also the generation learning how to question it, disrupt it, and use it for good. Artificial intelligence, AI, KI oder künstliche Intelligenz are words we usually throw around, but what does it actually mean? It's not just robots or sci-fi movies. It's computer systems doing things that we thought only humans could do. It allows machines to understand and generate human language, to recognize images and speech, make decisions based on data, and learn from experience. So basically, learning, deciding, recognizing, and responding. AI can talk like us, think like us, and sometimes be like us. Whether we realize it or not, AI is everywhere. It curates our feeds, answers our questions, and tells us what to watch or buy. From chatbots, e-payments, smart cars, deepfakes, navigation systems, and TikTok trends, AI is woven into our daily lives. And that's exactly why we need to talk about how it affects something so vital, our press freedom. Used wisely, AI can actually amplify press freedom. So let's talk about how. The first thing is efficiency and speed. It handles time-consuming tasks like transcribing interviews, translating content, or summarizing long reports. This frees up time for journalists to do the real work, real investigation and storytelling. Next is data analysis. AI can process massive amounts of data quickly, uncovering trends in government spending, climate, or public health. Then we have 24/7 availability. Chatbots don't sleep. Automated feeds deliver updates around the clock, especially crucial during elections, disaster, and fast-moving events. And now to accessibility and inclusion. AI helps translate articles, generate audio for visually impaired, and simplify complex content. It ensures that more people from more backgrounds can access and understand the news. And finally, citizen journalism. AI tools are putting the power of reporting back into the hands of everyday people, especially in areas where press freedom is restricted. Used ethically, AI doesn't replace journalists, it empowers them. Of course, AI isn't all about opportunity. It does have some real risks that we cannot ignore. The first thing would be job displacement, as automation takes over basic reporting. Many journalists, especially early career journalists, are at risk of being replaced. Then there's algorithm bias. AI systems reflect the data that they're trained on, and that data often includes human bias. That means certain voices or communities can be unfairly excluded or misrepresented. Then there's lack of personalization. AI doesn't always understand the nuance or the local context. And automated content can feel impersonal or even misleading. One of the biggest problems, misinformation and deepfakes. AI can now generate fake articles, voices, and even videos that look frighteningly real, making it hard to distinguish between what's real and what's fake. Let's not forget about data privacy and ethical concerns. Who controls the data? Who decides what gets published and what gets silenced? Of course, there's also censorship by design. AI algorithms can be programmed intentionally or not to hide controversial content. And finally, there's the risk of overdependence. If we rely too heavily on AI, it can dull our senses and we risk losing our critical thinking. So yes, AI can be powerful, but without transparency, regulation, and human oversight, it can undermine the very freedom that we're trying to protect. Now let's talk about social media. Platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, now known as X, Reddit, and Discord. For many of us, these aren't just apps. They're where we get our news, where movements are born, and where stories spread. On one hand, social media empowers press freedom. It amplifies marginalized voices. It enables real-time grassroots reporting from protests, war zones, and disaster areas. And it drives awareness and activism, rallying communities around the issues that otherwise might go unnoticed. Example would be the hashtag #MeToo movement, Fridays for Future, Black Lives Matter. Also, the European Network of Filipino Diaspora's Eco Warrior initiative that was launched this month in Iceland. But, of course, it comes with drawbacks. Social platforms can trap us in echo chambers, places where we can only see opinions that resonate with us, filter bubbles that reinforce biases that we previously had, and shadow banning that can quietly silence users, especially activists and minority voices. And content is often driven by clicks and not by truth, meaning sensationalism is preferred over fact. So yes, social media can empower, but without accountability, it can distort, divide, and suppress. Press freedom is a shared responsibility, and across generations, people are taking action. So what we can do is support independent media outlets by subscribing, donating, sharing journalism that's free from political and corporate control. Examples would be The Guardian or The Rapla, both independent media outlets. Then we can also call up disinformation together. Fact-checking is now more than ever a shared responsibility. Activists, educators, and everyday users should challenge fake news in real time. In Vienna, Der Standard promotes fact-checking through reader engagement and partners with APA Faktencheck and the International Fact-Checking Network. Journalists, lawyers, and citizens are pushing for better protection of press freedom and digital rights. Examples include the calls to repeal anti-press laws in the Philippines and the EU's Digital Services Act to hold online platforms accountable. And of course, we're teaching media literacy in classrooms, communities, and online, because knowing how to spot disinformation and bias is vital today. An example would be ENFiD's advocacy training workshop on cybersecurity that started last year here at the United Nations and has spread across Europe. Press freedom isn't just a journalist issue, it's a citizen's duty. Across generations, we are standing up for the truth. So, what can we do now? Here's what we all, especially us Gen Z, can do. Stay critical, educate, support real journalism, and speak up. AI can shape our world, but only we can shape our values. Freedom of press is not something we inherit, it's something we must protect. So let's use our tools, our voices, our platform to defend what matters. Because in the end, our voice, our power, and our press. Thank you.
So we look forward to sharing the responsibilities.
Happy, people found it fun, but this is actually so generated by artificial intelligence. If you look closely, it really looks real. So what we have done, what Sarah has done, is to come up with photos, which we want you to determine which one is true, number one, or which one is, and which one is fake. Okay, so we'll be showing.
Here's two pictures, both of cute little trials. I think the best thing to go about this is to raise your hands.
Which do you think is
Which do you think is real? Who thinks number one is real?
the real picture? Raise your hand.
Okay, minority.
Yellow.
So everyone else thinks number two is real? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Well, number real?
Yes.
Number two is actually real. So you really can't tell.
Can somebody say why they think it's real?
Anyone?
I would argue that the background on what the frog is standing looks very künstlich. Yeah, fake.
Great observation. Mom actually thought this was real. She thought this was a green screen and this was just edited on. But you were wrong. Okay, next one.
Next slide. This one.
Okay.
It's a photo of Titanic.
Titanic.
I think that one is
I
easy.
think it is quite clear.
Which one?
Which one? Number one?
No, two is real.
Number two.
Did somebody tell you why number two?
No need to force them to explain. I think that's quite obvious,
This
right?
one. This one is difficult.
This one, okay. Children drawing. Who thinks number one is real? Oh, okay. Minority again. So everyone else thinks number two is real.
Why? Can somebody explain why number two is real?
Anyone?
The correct answer is number.
Because the color. Yeah, the color.
Sorry, number one. Sorry.
It is number one. Number one is the one that's real.
And how can you tell?
Is there any way to tell? I can barely tell, actually. But Alessandro knows.
I think on the second picture their skin looks very too
Yeah,
smooth
right?
and it doesn't look real at all to me.
Oh, very good.
Yes, very good eyes.
So
Next.
one has to have good
So
eyes
the correct,
to differentiate. Yeah.
yeah, the correct one is number one. Next one.
Okay.
That's a scene in Japan.
Mount Fuji. Okay, you have to look at the reflection, the leaves. It's quite hard. Okay, who thinks number one is real? Oh, no one. Okay, number two. Why number two?
I don't know.
He just has a feeling. You are correct. Number two is real.
Color,
It is the color. It's also the leaves, and yeah,
So you see how difficult it's
it
become.
is becoming more and more difficult. Yes. Final one. This is hard.
Number one.
Number
Okay,
one.
okay. Who thinks number one is real? Okay.
Of course, number one.
And number two, everyone else. Mom, can you reveal?
Wait, I have to
She
check.
doesn't even know. It's quite hard to tell.
The correct one, at first glance, the shuttle launch images share similar features. The first one is AI generated. The real one is
Number two.
the second one because of the details. This is really difficult. This is where our analytical skills really come to shine. Okay, next one.
Last one, last one.
Is it the last one?
Yes.
Okay, you say so. Wait.
Oh, or not. Okay.
This is Hong Kong.
If there are any natives, they should know. Number two. Okay, who thinks number one is real? Okay, unanimous. Number two is real.
Number two is real.
Yes.
Number one is to look at the background, the mountains, and also earth inconsistencies. So it's becoming more difficult. Anyway,
Those are just examples of how good AI is nowadays. There are certain websites that you can see all of this, and there are also tips on how you can really see how to spot all these differences in AI generated and pictures. So thank you so much, my darling. You get okay. Next in line, we have Alessandra. I'm Alessandra. We will set it up. In the meantime, tell them about yourself. I think it will be nice that this time the introduction comes from our speaker.
I'm currently studying cultural science at the University of Vienna, and I'm also studying landscape architecture at the University of Natural Resources and Life Science. Shortly, it is called BOKU. And I'm also a member of Amnesty International. I stand here today not only for myself, but also for all the young women and girls who deserve to see themselves represented in the media. I believe that every voice matters, and that true press freedom means making space for those voices who have been left out. I'm deeply honored to speak today about an issue that is close to my heart, the role of women in media. now we're going to look at the current media landscape. Across the world, women and girls are underrepresented in media, not only as journalists or producers, but also in the stories we see and hear. Too often, women and girls are portrayed in the media primarily as victims, with little attention given to the deeper structural cause of violence. This narrow representation not only limits how society sees women, but also how young women see themselves. Studies show that in media coverage, men still dominate the public sphere, especially in politics, business, and science, while women are often reduced to their appearance or private roles. This imbalance sends a powerful and demanding message that leadership and expertise and public voice belong mostly to men, and that young women must fight harder to be heard. I brought some examples from a major Austrian daily newspaper, which was published last week. As you can see on the pages, women are reduced to their looks to celebrate summer. Also, in the last picture, we see that women are often presented as victims of violence, especially in criminal reporting. Then I have on another page male politicians that dominate the headlines, while only one woman appears here in a group photo, barely visible in the background. This is not balanced media. This is a message. And the message is power is male. Women are either decorations or victims. Now I'm going to talk why representation matters. First of all, media shapes perception. It tells us who matters, whose voices are heard, and whose story are worth telling. When girls don't see themselves in media, or when they only see narrow or harmful portrayals, it limits their senses of what is possible. But when they see real and complex, strong female voices, it inspires new generations to speak out and ask questions and demand justice. I've also written down some of the challenges young women face in the current age. In many parts of the world, as you know, a female person who speaks out, especially online, faces harassment, threats, and censorship. Press freedom must include the freedom for everyone to participate. That means addressing digital violence, misinformation, and systems that exclude young female voices. I also brought some examples that representation affects literally everyone. And while we're talking about how women and girls are often misrepresented in the media, it's important to remember harmful stereotypes affect everyone. It is also important to ask what happens to boys and men who are told they can't be soft, vulnerable, or victims. The media's idea of masculinity can be just as limiting. The media only shows men as strong emotional leaders. There you can see also Trump and one of the ministers in Austria. It sends a message that men can't be victims, that asking for help is weakness, and vulnerability doesn't belong to them. That is not freedom either. True representation means showing the full humanity of all people. True freedom means allowing all people to be seen, strong and soft, brave and afraid, without shame. I also, despite these challenges, young women are creating their own platforms, from teen-led podcasts to grassroots journalism projects. Girls are telling their stories in creative and innovative ways. They're redefining what media can look like and who gets to be the center of it. I also brought some examples. The first one, as you can see, is in the ÖH student magazine. I found several articles who focus on women and science. These are stories written with care and depth, highlighting the experience of women from a wide range of social and educational backgrounds. They weren't just statistics, they were voices with names and stories. Yeah. Another great example is from it is my favorite magazine, Biber, which created a journalism academy for young people. It helps them to learn how to research, report, and share their perspective. I brought some articles by young women. They're powerful, personal, and bold. They're voices with names and stories. When we create space for women and girls to tell their own stories, especially those who are underrepresented, we all benefit from it. We get a full picture of the whole world. For my last, as a conclusion, on this day, as we fight for press freedom, let us remember, it is not truly press freedom if it only serves the powerful. Let us fight for for a media world where every voice counts, especially for those who have been silenced for too long. Let's empower girls and women to not only be the headlines, but also to let them write and tell stories from their perspective. Thank you for listening.
The future generation.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
All the presentations, but most especially to the presentations of the Gen Zs among us. Isn't it time to finally let them too inside the esteemed organization of UNCAV, letting them somehow bring in what they can have and having a reciprocal mentor-mentee relationship. So that is the challenge that as the board especially approves, as UNCAV with most of the seasoned veterans in it, of journalists in different platforms, we are in this century where digitalization is in our midst, where AI is really in action. It's time to let the young people in. And I speak not just for Sarah, but for Alessandra and all the Gen Zs that we encounter, but we sometimes think, oh, they're too young. They're not. They're never too young. So it's time to let them in. Mentor-mentee, what a great thing it would be. Right, Abdallah?
Yes.
Right, Haman? And of course, there are other journalist organizations like the Austrian Journalist Club, represented ably here by John. You know, all this, MENA is here too, the Middle Eastern organization. The Latin American, I hear Ukrainian, I hear Vietnam. You know, it's China. It's never bad to really let the young people, you know, they are here, and they're here like ready to take on. I remember in the Youth Changemakers Forum we had last year, a presenter from the Slovak Republic, 15 years old, presented a project about environment. And in her presentation, at the end, what she said to us, Irmgard, you can testify, be a witness to this one. At the very end of her presentation about pollution affecting their area and even leading to the death of one young woman there, her appeal was, we are here, the young ones, let us in. You always tell us that we don't care about important issues, environment, climate change, press freedom. We do, but let us in. Ask us what we can do. Let us know what we can do for you, and we're ready to help. So I think bottom line message, this is an event across generations. This is an event that is very timely. Let us open the gates and open the door also to the young people. So this very positive note, I invite you all to mill around, talk to each other. For a change this time, we did not prepare any huge snack or anything because this event was supposed to take place in a meeting room. In that meeting room, we're not allowed to bring anything. The water that I ordered did not even arrive. But we have some chips and nuts and orange juice and apple juice. Drinking the juice, eating some nuts and chips, talk to each other. This is the essence of this event for us and as the organizer and for you as the attendees. So on this very positive note, thank you so much.
Meine Augen, sie locken und glühen.
My God, Luriko, deine Lippen küssen, singen auch so hart.
Thank you very much to all guys and my senior journalist. Today I have some gifts, but problem is that I was ordered, it's not complete. Someone is here, peoples, and next program I will hope so to all my friends. I will give you a gift. The first I invite to President of UNCAV, Mr. Abdullah Sharif. Please come to take your gift.
It's a very special.
Is this a
personalized pack?
personal?
Wow.
Is this our gift for you?
Wow.
Pictures here.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh. Stay there.
Picture of the whole UNCAV Vorstand.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What a great thing.
Yeah. The next one is Secretary General of UNCAV, Mr. Herman. Please come.
Das kommt vom Schweizer Haus, das heißt, ja.
Take a photo.
So thank you so much, my dear friend.
Yeah. The next one is for Radio Orange. So my best friend here from Betty, please come. And
Another best friend.
Maria, another best friend, who is here. Please come to, yes, get your cup.
Моля? Сега? Чудесно беше. Това беше много професионално удовлетворение. Внимание и поздравление.
The President of UPF, Universal Peace Federation, Mr. Peter Hyder, please come.
Peter, your requested. That's so sweet of Amir.
He is the... Yes. And now, very, very special guest. I always called my sister Marisel, and all family, please come here to get your 2 cups.
Wow. Where's the wine? Where's the vodka?
Yeah.
We want vodka. We want vodka. Amir, where are you?
Thank you very much.
Your brother?
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. My brother.
Thank you very much. If you get your name, is your box, I don't know. Maria. Wait.
Happy World Press Freedom Day!
Is it good?
Thank you very much all guys to watching my video, and today all video credited by my friend from Tunisia, journalist Mr. Abdul Hadi, who is organized. He's today all day working about from behind of camera, and he's a very good cameraman. Thank you very much, and we will watch him, and we will see you next my video. Thank you. Bye.